Today we'll be covering Incredible Hulk issues 2 and 3, where the Immortal Hulk is basically getting a new sidekick. Darkness looms over the decrepit mountain town, but in the gloom of the time-destroyed buildings, singers can be heard. The song wafts out of the rundown church in the center of the town, and in the front of the steps sits a tombstone, proclaiming that Sister Sadie has gone home. Beneath the town and the mines that run deep within the earth, something stirs, something awakens. It's an eye opening wide. Bruce Banner suddenly sits up with a shock, looking around for a moment and sees a young girl staring at him. "You're that kid," Bruce says, the memories of the past few days still hazy, and she nods, introducing herself as Charlie. "And you're Bruce Banner, the Incredible Hulk," she says. A short time later, Bruce and Charlie are walking down the road, with Bruce constantly shouting over his shoulder that she needs to go home, that she doesn't want anything to do with the Hulk. "You talk about the Hulk like he's someone else," she says, throwing a rock at his head to try and get him to change. Banner whirls around on her, shouting that he's trying to save her life by sending her away. But their argument is interrupted as an old man wanders out of the forest, his skin moldy and gray. He looks dead. The pair stare for a moment before Banner raises his hand in greeting. Hey old-timer, what brings you this way?" Banner asks, and the old man stops, turning slowly to face them. "Going home to Red Creek. Going to see Sister Sadie and Brother Deep," the man says. He turns away, heading off into the woods. "Brother Deep's calling us home," the old man gasps as he disappears into the forest. Banner and Charlie stare for a moment, watching the spot where the old man disappeared. But the sky suddenly opens above their heads and the rain begins to pour down in torrents. Later, Charlie and Bruce take cover over an old bridge, and it's there that Bruce asks Charlie why she's following him around, what she hopes to get out of the Hulk. "I mean, Cap had Bucky back in the day, Hulk's an Avenger. Sometimes heroes need partners, and sometimes the partners grow up to be," she begins to say, but Banner stops her. "Oh my god, kid, is this an Avengers tryout? Hulk's not a hero, and he doesn't want a sidekick," Bruce snaps at her. Charlie stumbles back at Bruce's rage and trips, her hair moving out of her face, revealing the burns and scars on the left side. Bruce stares at her for a moment, his rage now gone. "Who did that to your face?" he finally asks, and she tells him that it was the home that he wants her to go back to. Sullen, she settles down for the night. "I'm here for the Hulk, not you. Being close to him makes me feel strong. I'm already a monster. I'm allowed to want the awesome parts too," she whispers. Later that night, both Bruce and Charlie's dreams are filled with horrible images, darkness swirling around them as they see a decrepit church in the distance. They finally awaken at the sound of a police siren. Bruce looks up at the road to see the county sheriff staring down at them, asking what the pair are doing at the edge of his town. "Y'all thinking of spending the night here?" the sheriff says, but Banner explains that they were just trying to stay out of the rain. The sheriff looks at the pair and finally offers them to give them a ride to the town. The hand on his gun reveals that the ride to the town really isn't a request. As Bruce and Charlie struggle up to the road, Charlie whispers to Bruce, "Come on, Banner, bring him out, do something," she hisses as they slide into the back seat of the police cruiser. Bruce then asks where the sheriff is going to bring them, and a big smile crosses his face as a fly buzzes around him. "Red Creek, where I was born and raised. Good, God-fearing people there." Meanwhile, over in Red Creek, the congregation sits in the decrepit church, singing and praising as Sister Sadie stands before them, preaching the good word of Brother Deep. She raises her undead hands to the churchgoers, whose rotting flesh barely stays on their bones. The door to the church opens up and the congregation turns as the sheriff pushes Bruce and Charlie inside. The pair's eyes widen at the undead church, who chants about how Brother Deep wishes for them to dig, to free Brother Deep from his prison. The sheriff pushes them forward, telling Sister Sadie that he has brought them as an offering. The undead then take a hold of Bruce, dragging him forward. "Hulk, I really need you! They're gonna kill the girl!" Bruce shouts in his mind as one of the brothers reaches for a knife at the offering table. At the glint of the knife, Bruce can see the Hulk. "Yeah, but first they're gonna kill you, Banner," Hulk says with an evil grin. Bruce's eyes widen as the blade sinks into his chest and he falls on the table. The church begins to chant, but they gasp in shock as Bruce's green blood begins to flow. "It's him! It's the fractured son!" Sister Sadie proclaims, and the church begins to sing louder. But Banner's eyes suddenly open wide, now glowing green. The church gasps as Hulk rips his way free of Banner's puny body. Hulk slams into the ground, destroying a group of undead with one blow, but the rest continue to sing, with some reaching out for Charlie, others rushing to the Hulk, trying to stab at him with knives, but he bellows in a rage, pulling them apart, throwing them away as he lashes out. His fists drive through the floor again, cracking that church in half as the undead begin to tumble into the darkness. That's when the Hulk reaches out, grabbing Charlie's arm, pulling her to safety. But with the girl free of danger, the Hulk turns and walks away. "Wait! Take me with you!" "No," he says, not even turning around. "You're Banner's friend." But Charlie shakes her head, telling the Hulk that Banner wanted to send her away. "I want to be like you. Can you make me strong?" The Hulk stops. He turns around and he looks down at the young girl. "No, you're weak, afraid, puny like him," he says before turning and walking away again. Anger suddenly wells up in Charlie as she begins to shout after the Hulk, calling him a jerk just like Bruce. The ground then begins to quake beneath her feet and the earth gives out. She screams as she falls into the dark hole of the church. But the Hulk is suddenly there, reaching out for her. He grabs a hold of her and they both slam into the ground at the bottom of the hole. "Stupid kid!" Hulk growls as he gets to his feet. In the distance, what remains of the church continues to burn while the undead gather around it. Charlie looks around in awe at the vast chamber that they have fallen into and points out the strange paintings on the walls of people worshipping great monsters. "What's that?" she whispers in fear, but the Hulk shakes his head. "Don't care. We're leaving," he says, but Sister Sadie is nearby, hanging from the broken rope and rafters. She turns her undead gaze upon Charlie. "It's the story of Brother Deep, girl, but there's no one left to read it. It was written by those who are gone." Sister Sadie explains that the people of Red Creek hear Brother Deep's voice, calling to them even in death, screaming for them. The ground begins to rumble beneath their feet and suddenly splits open, with Sister Sadie looking at the Hulk, telling him that Brother Deep has finally been awakened. "He's coming for you, fractured son," she says, nodding at the Hulk. The Hulk turns as the ground splits open and a great monster rises up, its body covered in long tentacles as it opens its mouth and roars. "Leave me alone," the Hulk growls. But Brother Deep opens its mouth and spits flaming fluid at the Hulk, a massive fist coming down, slamming into the ground. But the Hulk catches the blow and holds it steady. "Fine," he says, throwing the fist back. Hulk leaps into the air, his fist punching a massive hole into Brother Deep. He then lands, grabbing a hold of a sharp rafter fallen off of the church, hefting it like a spear, leaping once more at the monster. "Should have stayed in your stupid hole!" Hulk roars as he drives the stake into the monster, bringing it down with a roar of pain. Outside, the smoke rises from the ruins of Red Creek, the ground beginning to quake again, but this time it is the Hulk punching his way free. Charlie follows after him, coughing from the smoke, and as she begins to follow the Hulk, something reaches out of the forest. She looks down in shock to see the upper half of the sheriff's body trying to drag itself towards her. "Where do you think you're going?" The sheriff snaps, but Charlie is filled with anger and begins to stomp and destroy the undead creature. "Should have stayed in your stupid hole!" She screams at the remade corpse. Breathing heavily, she looks up to see the Hulk is watching her, a smile on his face. "All right, Charlie, keep up," he says as he turns away. "But don't trust Banner. Make things easier for Banner, and we're done," he says over his shoulder. With a smile, she follows after the green monster. "It's true, huh? There really are two of you in there," she says, and the Hulk glances back at her. "Not for much longer." If you enjoy the Hulk, like, subscribe, check it out at your local comic book store, but if you want to see more here, well, the story is to be continued.